Hey guys, well, what a familiar sight this is. But looks can be deceiving, I guess, because I'm actually making a lot of progress on this car. And so I thought I'd just go ahead and do a quick update as part of a longer video, I think. But things are coming together on this. Unfortunately, I'm going into my vacation week just now. I think I'm on the second day of vacation. And true to form, towards the end of last week, I got sick with the flu. So I was very sick Thursday and Friday. I didn't even go to work Friday. And then Saturday I started getting better and Sunday getting a little better. So through the days there I started getting better and better because I was, man, I was all worried. I thought, oh no. I said, I'm going to be sick all the way through this week. Won't get anything done. I was like, why me? But it seemed to be, like I said, the express case of the flu because I guess it's the flu. It sure felt like it because I had a 101-degree fever and felt like I got hit by a truck and just didn't want to get out of bed or anything. But for the most part, I'm much, much better. I still have a little bit of fatigue and I got a cough. I try not to cough while I'm doing this, but I think what's making me feel even better though is I've got out here and worked. So I've been doing things on this every day, and the main thing I've been working on is getting the interior painted on this thing and getting ready to put the headliner in. So I had all masked to do the inner door frames and stuff, and I'll tell you now, I don't want to ever do that job again if I don't have to, but I think actually I'm going to have to because I got some, not on this car, but I've got some further plans for other stuff. So I see that coming again, so I'm going to spend the time between this one and that one reviewing if there's a way that I can make this easier because I masked and I masked and I taped and I masked and I masked and it's endless. I don't know how many hours I had in just masking this thing to do that. I'd say I probably had a good 5 hours in just masking it. It was utterly horrible job. But it turned out good. I'll give you a sneak peek. There's your sneak peek. So this color is a little bit different from what was on it originally. It had sort of a tan color interior paint deal there originally, but yeah, it was no longer, you couldn't get it. So I know some of you guys have been helpful and have kind of explained why that the paint formula is no longer available. So that's fine. I'll accept that, but I'm not happy about it. I accept it. But anyway, so it's just going to have to be one of these things where we just move on. So I've been looking for, what do you say, an equivalent. And I do not have, sorry, I do not have big enough piece of metal to go get the paint scanned. And when they scan it, they don't just make up a formula for it there. What they do is they try to compare it to something that's already in existence. So I thought, yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go to the parts store and I'm going to go looking for paint and see if I can find something that's pretty close. And what was pretty close was this, which is, sorry, there we go. This is Desert Sand Mica. This is a Toyota color of all things, off about a 2015, 2014 Toyota. So it worked out really well. And this is kind of, it's not paint that the store mixes blown on through a gun, but it's pretty good paint for small jobs like this. So it worked out well. I'm happy with it. So the next thing to do past that was to go ahead and start doing the headliner. And with the headliner job, you got to put in insulation up there. You have 2 long pieces of insulation go in those rectangles that you see, and then you have to take the dome light out. That's the first thing you do. So I was going to do that this evening. I was going to glue that in, and that way it could sit here and cure while I slept overnight, while I was sleeping. So anyway, but as you can see, that didn't happen, and I'll tell you what happened to cause that not to happen. All right, well, the thing is, I did these window channels. I did the outside of them. And somewhere in there, I thought it crossed my mind that, well, I need to go do the insides of them too. But I forgot about it. All right, so I was thinking about it today. I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and start doing this. I thought, uh-oh, wait a minute. or I think I happened to look in there at those things in there, and they're not in bad shape really. They're just kind of grungy. They got some not urethane, some butyl rubber residue in them that I had to clean out. So I had to go back and do all that and get those things shaped up so the window gaskets could go in and be sealed in without crap in there. So did those, and then got the rear ones, and the rear ones were okay. But which one was it? There was one back here that was kind of iffy. That's right, it was this one. It was the iffy one. Oh boy. That back here in the corner, you can see that with that light, but it's not rotted, but it's really rusted right there. The bottom of that window lip is, and so first thing I do is I always, man, it's harder and harder to get out of this car. Days go by. What I'd always do is my belief is, whether it's right or wrong, I don't know, but what I try to do first is I try to do any kind of, if I'm going to do a rust, like a conversion product or something like that, I always put that, or if I'm just going to like seal it with Pour 15, I always do that first, because my feeling is that you do not want to put any kind of filler over rust, because it's just asking for trouble. So if you're going to do something to the rust, which I am, then I do that first. So I've got to do that, and then I have to let that sit and cure, especially with it being cool out here, because stuff doesn't cure very fast. So what I've been doing with that is I've been using, I did Pour 15 on the floors where it needed it, but I've been using this rust reformer stuff. It's Rust-Oleum. It looks to me like paint, but it's supposed to have tannic acid in it, so it converts it. So that's what I do first, and then I go back over that with epoxy, and then I do my repair. Like if I'm going to take a little bit of like JB Weld or something as something to smooth it. That's all I'm doing with it. I'm just building it up and smoothing it. Then I'll do that last, and then I'll go over that with something, because I don't want any kind of stuff against the rusty spot. I think that's a bad idea. So, and this thing, I'll tell you what, I don't know, anybody who thinks that you're going to put a windshield or a rear glass in one of these cars and just put it in dry, the gasket in with no sealant, you're smoking something, because this is the worst looking metalwork I've ever seen. As far as something to, I got it taped up now, but I mean, there's like right here, look at this. Look how that metal flange right there changes shape. It does it right there. It does it over there. Look at this one. See if you can see that. There it is. Look at that. That's the way the car is made. Where that thing is, that tape is on the top. There's two pieces of metal there. The tape on the top is laid flat against the top piece of metal, and that's the bottom piece, and that's supposed to be inside the window gasket. So that's why you have to, when you put one of these windows in, you need to dope this thing up heavily with butyl when you put the gasket in. Don't just try to put it in dry, because it will never seal. See, that's why you have to do all these repairs to these cars, because you end up, they use this 1930s window sealing technique with this gasket in here, and then the metal work they did was not good anyway, so good old Mopar for you. So anyway, that's what's up here with this. Let's catch you back up with this. And then I got my radio finally tuned in to, finally where it will tune into a station in here in this metal building. It really, I was supposed to really work in here, but I got it to. So the bad part of that is that it plays is crystal clear on that one station, but that station is Star 99.1 out of Huntsville, and that was one of the stations that convinced me finally to abandon listening to the rest of the radio and go to a satellite, and then eventually like Pandora, because if you're not crazy when you start listening to this radio station, after about a week you will be. because they're worse than anybody. They play. I think I've heard the same songs, the same time of the day, all 3 days I've been out here with that thing going. And so it's all this new stuff like Beaver, and they got Katy Perry stuff, and they got some girl singing some song on her. She sounds like she's a mixture of a kid and Asian or something. I don't know. She goes, and she's been on every day, all 3 days. So I think they've got about, I don't know, maybe 15 songs they play in their rotation. And then every once in a while they'll throw something older in that I can actually relate to, I can remember. So anyway, it's either choice of that thing being off or it playing, and I think that I'm going to leave it off actually. But anyway, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my rust treatment this evening so I can go in right afterwards, because it fogs this place up in here and I can't breathe that. I have to wear my thing there. So and it's raining again. It's going to be raining tonight and tomorrow. Oh, cannot wait for something to get here quick enough. So, and this has been a big job. Let me tell you, this is more than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I knew what I was getting into as far as what I wanted to do, but as far as like doing it, golly bum. This is like everything I don't like doing on a car, like sanding and scraping and all that. But the welding's done at least, except for the meantime, except for what I'm going to have to do in the trunk. But I'll do that a little bit later on, I think. Which I really need. I've said this already, I think. I need to do that before I put. I'm going to do it before I put the interior in. I'm going to probably go ahead and do the headliner though, because I can block that trunk off from the inside. But that headliner, that's going to be a job. So, all right. Well, I'll bring you back when I do a little more, guys. But just want to let you know where I was and what's been going on with the project here. So, okay, let's get cracking. Okay, then, the next thing I got to do is I've got two things on the agenda here. I've got to put in these two sail panels at the rear, and then I have to put in this roof insulation. This goes under the roof there on the inside of it. I'll show you what these things are. They go in back here, over there, and over here, and we just fit them in like so. And they can sit sort of like that. They have a certain position they need to be in. But anyway, so that's what we do with them. Just put those in like that, and that just trims out where the headliner fits. These are going to glue to the car, and then the headliner is going to glue to that. And we'll screw that positions them in there. So anyway, so we're going to do that. Put those two in. Now these things, they aren't available. I had to make them. And here's one of the old ones right here, and you can see it's in poor condition. So anyway, so I just remade these and went and got some 80 thousandths, I guess it is, masonite chipboard. What do they call this stuff? Made some marks in the back of it. It's supposed to actually have a couple more 3 holes out here, but I'm not going to worry about that. I don't even know what the point is of them. But I guess they thought they needed them for some reason. But I just think this will make the headliner look even better without those little dimples in it. And then this stuff here, I ordered off the internet. It's just sort of a insulation, sheet insulation, this material. I don't know what to call it, but it goes up under here in 2 spots. And let's keep that from happening. So. Okay, well, let me get on with this. I'm not going to stay here very long because I got my little heater running, but it don't do no good. I ran out of propane, so it's going to be cold tonight. So I'm going to get done what I can do, and then I'm going to start on the morning with it. Well, you've heard of the mark of the beast, I'm sure. I call this the mark of the cheapskate. So this is the dome light out of this car. Normally it's affixed to the roof in there. That's just where I took it out of. But if you look at this thing, this is the housing, just a real lightweight piece of metal, nothing special to it. But you see all this junk all over it? I'll tell you what that is. That is duct tape residue. That's where the headliner started falling down. So instead of spending any money, put another headliner in it or have it put in, like I am, they just decided to just tape it up with duct tape. So I have to go back and remove all this junk. If you look here on the edge of the door, you can see that I've been here too, taping up the edges with, I think doesn't want to show there. It's trying to get the rest of it. Right there. How do you explain that? Is that just, what do you say? Is that just somebody that, you know, I don't care what it looks like. I just want the headliner to not fall down no more. Just duct tape it. Crazy people. And I get all of them, seems like. Okay, then, just a few minutes of elbow grease later, and this dome light assembly is all fixed up. Like old Car Alley might say, just fantastic. Just came out just remarkable. I don't know about that, but it looks pretty good. So that's all good. It's ready to go. So I've got something else I want to start on. I'm probably going to take this in the house and start working on it in the house where it's a little bit warmer. But this is the day-night rear view mirror, or night and day, whichever you want to call it. But this is the one, incidentally, I think this is the exact same mirror. If you remember, not sure about that, but if you remember that in the Dual movie video I made just a little while back, had the same kind of handle on it. So it's interesting. I made a few different types of mirrors, but this one's fine. I mean, the glass and everything's nice in it, but the metal's just kind of pitted and stuff, and it's got a chrome up here needs to be worked over with some steel wool and stuff. So we'll do that, get it all looking good. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and plaster this with some contact cement and get it ready to put in. So I test fit these, and this is the front. This goes in. There's a rib right here. It goes across the roof of the car, I guess, to give it strength right there. And so that serves as a line of demarcation between the front and the rear portions. So this curved part assumedly goes up towards the front, even though this car's not. I think that is intended just to be sure that you can use it for either like a car with a straight glass, what I call straight glass, or like a duster. It's got a curved roof and all that, so it should work fine. Either way it fits. So we're going to do that. And I have these sail panels installed, and I have them clamped right there, because this is the kind of a curved section right here, and these things are not naturally curved. They will be, but they'll take a set easily. They do take a set easily. You can actually lay them down, prop the end of one of them up on something, and it'll actually curve itself, so no problem. And this apparatus here, this is one of my spare shower curtain rods, so I've used this to hold the ends of these things in, because again, I didn't necessarily want to do that. So, and a little sloppy with the glue, but it doesn't matter. It's all going to be covered up because the headliner comes all the way out to the edge of the roof. It's got these teeth on it. Let's look at where are we at here? Teeth right there. And then the headliner is going to glue to that. So that's probably going to start on tomorrow, is putting this headliner, because this is not going to be easy, especially for somebody that's never done it. This is a bow style headliner. It means it's got 5 metal bows that go across laterally from one side to the other. And so that hangs the headliner, but then the headliner has to be positioned, and it has to be all this kind of, I've read the instructions several times. It's got to be positioned forward and rearward and sideways. So before you do that, I read a very good article on it, and so I'm using a couple of them already. But I got a whole bunch of these little spring clamps, and the suggestion was to spring clamp it all around where you need to have it, sides, front, rear, and that way you can hang the headliner and then start messing with your positioning of it before you cut or glue anything. You don't want to do that before you have it where you want it. So we're going to do that, and that way hopefully that will let me tension it and, you know, make it look good, make it acceptable to me before I glue anything down, because like I said, it goes over these teeth, and then it's got some glue in different spots, like on the sides and stuff like that. So, but we'll get into that. I may record part of that, I may record all of it, I may record none of it. It depends on my mood, because when I get frustrated, I tend to use a lot of profanities. So I don't want to have a profanity, what they call it, a profanity-laced tirade here, trying to put a headliner in. We'll see. We'll see. I'll probably maybe do some yoga and some Zen and try to get in a good emotional spot for this. So anyway, but that's going to be in the morning because it's already way after dark. So, but I want to go ahead and do this with the blankets. I call these things. I was thinking of that, trying to think of that word a while ago. This is called the insulation blanket. This is the same sort of stuff that's up under the dashboard that always ends up dropping down. And this is the same stuff. If you ever wonder what the crap that you find mice and rat nests made out of in an old car like this, this is what it looks like before it gets turned into a rat's nest. So, yeah. All right, so let me do this. I'll show you what I'm going to do, actually. I've got some of this stuff. Welded contact cement, permanent bond-on contact. That sounds good to me. And I'm going to use that. And then I'm going to use one of these cheap old chip brushes I got. Got a whole pack of them. So we're going to use that, and we're going to use that to roll it, brush it on with. And I know somebody's going to say, well, you be spraying on, it sticks up there. Well, maybe, but I haven't had good luck with that spray adhesive, so I'm doing this job twice if I can help it. So we're going to lay it to it, because it's going to be, you know, I don't care if it gets soaked with glue, because it's going to be up under the roof. Nobody's going to see it until somebody takes the headliner out. So all I care about is staying in. So let's do that right now. Oh, by the way, I have a wish, and I'll tell you what that wish is. My wish is that Howard of Old Car Alley would let me know, and everybody else know, where he got that Nito can lid lifter I saw him use in a video, so I don't have to use one of these things, because most of the time these are no real problem. But I had a can of something I opened up a while back that it looked like somebody had taken that lid after I was done with it, and this went and that was not the plan. But sometimes these things just fight you so bad you have to almost tear them up to get them out, and that's ridiculous, because I don't like doing that. I like resealing it. So maybe, hopefully, Howard will fulfill my wish. Well, I don't know what this stuff has got in it, but it says, before use, turn off the main gas valve. God. I probably need to put on my mask, I guess. I think that would be a real good idea. Okay, that thing is in. And if this was one of these fluff pieces, I'd say, well, we just quickly applied this. Quickly and easily. It went right in. Which it did. That weldwood stuff works great. That contact cement works great. What I did was I just slathered that stuff on there, and then you sit for about 10 minutes and kind of tack up a little bit. And then what I also did is I took my 3M spray adhesive and sprayed the other side, the mating side of the blanket, and it went right in there. Boy, and it's not coming out. Not in this lifetime. The only hard thing about this is it's a tight fit, and you have to kind of, it's really, you need to have two people doing it, but I don't have two people, so I have to do everything by myself. So It looks like that's a bubble right there in the center, but it's not. What you have to do is you kind of have to be oriented about it. It needs to go all the way over as far as it can go against that side of the roof over there, and as far back as it can go, like against that thing. You can see I got it a little out of kilter right there. I'm one of these people that just can't ever put something in straight. It never happens. I can't cut something straight. I can't put it in straight. It just never happens. So anyway, I just did a little trimming. It's fine. So anyway, that thing is in there, and that's done. That job is finished. So tomorrow I'm going to end this video with this because I want to do this headliner video on its own. So has anybody ever put a headliner in a video? Has anybody ever videoed putting in a headliner in a Valiant? I don't think so. Not a 4-door. 2-door maybe, because we love 2-doors. All men love 2-doors. So you can't have a 4-door. You gotta have 2-door. 2-doors where it's at. Right? Right. So anyway, all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up and go in and put this up for you. So thanks for hanging out with me on this cold evening. And I guess we'll see you tomorrow when we do a headliner. Bye now.